Hello and welcome to the Strength Students Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Scopoletti.
And I'm your other co-host, Steve Carty.
We are... It's already over. You're here today at, guess where?
Playland.
Electric Blue.
We at Toys R Us.
We're at CrossFit Hartford here in sunny Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah, word, sunny.
Hartford,
New
York.
It was snowing fucking sideways when we got in here.
But it was just in like a 100-yard radius. We took 2 turns and that was it. We're out of the snow.
That's it. So
today, we're going to talk about, this is the Friday. It's being filmed the Friday before New Year's Eve. So everyone's talking about resolutions, right? So we're going to talk about resolutions versus goal setting. Primarily goal setting and kind of the difference between that
and how they intertwine as well, too, though.
Right. Yeah,
how, like, setting a resolution and setting a goal are essentially the same thing. The biggest difference being the goal setting and the process, which is the important part. So resolution, that's not the important part. What you're going to do to get to the resolution or the goal, that's the important part.
It's all about your journey.
America, if you're watching.
They're watching.
Unless this was filmed in some sort of, like, post-apocalyptic, like, trans universe where, like, America isn't watching right now. Maybe this has been recovered by some sort of, like, intergalactic space traveling historian who's, like, going from galaxy to galaxy.
Does anyone else hear this shit? I know Talbot hears us.
Word. So first things first, what are you doing for New Year's, man?
I don't know yet. I have 2 options. And either in New York City at an old friend's apartment, some boys of mine from Westchester where I grew up, Corey, episode 18 and 19.
General Schwarzkopf.
So we're going to go. We're only going to eat high-fat, moderate protein, low-carb meals.
They're like, you boys want a shot of coconut oil? Yeah.
We're going to snort bacon off each other. Can't wait. It's either that or South Norwalk with another guest from episode 10, Paul Finneroli.
Never heard of him.
All of our friends are our guests. They happen to be smart people. What about Steve? What are you doing for New Year's?
So, like, for this New Year's,
get ready, America.
I am going on a spiritual conquest. That's what I'm calling it. Spiritual conquest.
Taking to wear like
myself,
armor, like a knight.
I'm taking myself just armor all. I'm just gonna rub it all over my body.
Under Armour.
I'm going on a spiritual conquest into the woods by myself. I'm gonna camp out. I'm gonna leave my phone at home. Leave all technology at home. Leave my car behind. Probably slash my tires so I can't get back.
I'll do that for you.
Gonna hit up a lean-to all day the 31st. I'm gonna go hiking and then I'm gonna sleep over, rig in the new year. Just outside under the stars with good old Mother and Father Nature.
So that, what Steve just said, you know, from his past jokes, you'd think he's joking, but he's dead serious. He's fucking doing that shit.
Ain't no fucking joke. My life ain't no joke.
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. Yeah, that should be, you know what? That's interesting. I'll give you credit for that. I would do it in the summer. I would not do it
fucking
now.
Pussies, man.
I run to my car in the winter. I fucking hate this weather. Anyways.
Well, and tying into like goal setting and resolutions, one of my goals this year, 2017, is to get more spiritually connected with myself. All right. So mind, body, spirit, man. This whole fitness thing, strength, all that. Spiritual strength is part of that. So that's how I plan on like ringing in the new year, connecting with the spirit.
Dude, I get it, man.
I
commend you for. A lot of people wouldn't take time to do that. I almost want to do that, but I don't know. Once I hear there's a party, I kind of get excited. So
there's going to be a party, dude, in my pants, in the woods.
Right now. On camera.
Oh, yeah. All right, so goal setting, resolutions, goals, words.
Resolutions, goals, jazz hands,
audio,
video,
future, Daft Punk,
hope. Shame.
So what is a resolution?
We just looked it up. I forget.
We looked it up on Urban Dictionary, dude.
So
It's like
tired.
it's like a
To make it-
secondary shoe line that Nike came out with in like the 1880s.
No, it's what did it say?
So a resolution is a firm statement to not do something or to do something. That's a resolution, okay? Makes sense. New Year's resolution. I'm going to do this year, or I'm not going to do this year. So it's pretty vague, right? Let's be honest. A resolution or even a goal. A goal arguably is the same thing. Same thing. Just making a firm statement saying, I'm going to do this year, or I'm not going to do this year, right? But very vague. That's not necessarily going to get you there, right?
Yeah.
I think we could all agree that just coming out with it, just saying, I'm going to do this thing, or I want to do this thing, that's great, and the ambition is there, and the thought is clearly there, but without action, there's going to be no completion.
True. Yeah.
So that's where the goal setting comes in.
You could say, I'm going to stop eating like shit.
Yeah.
But if you keep eating shit.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. And it's every single year, it's always the same thing. It's what's the New Year's resolution is going to be. And there's the demographic of people who, at least in our world, in the strength and conditioning world, fitness world, there's a demographic of people, I'm going to finally lose that weight, or I'm going to get stronger, or I'm going to finally start doing CrossFit, or I'm going to do my first strongman competition, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So we make these resolutions, and some people have trouble following through with that, which is okay. Goal setting goals, very intimidating process. It's a lot more intricate than you would think it would be, just to kind of sit and say, I'm going to do this, and just expect to do it. Doesn't work like that. A lot of people don't have problems with it, though. A lot of people can firmly set a goal, like we said, a resolution, a firm statement. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set my sights on this and do it.
Just do it.
And get after it, right?
Yeah.
So in order to help those who maybe do have some trouble with that, that's what we're gonna help you with today. We're gonna go over some firm goal setting, because this is not only something I do for myself, but it's actually something I've learned a lot about, and I've been helping the people I train, clients I have with coaching. I've helped them with this process as well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know you've done a lot more with that than I have.
Word.
So let's start with
What are some like New Year's resolutions or goals that you've set maybe past couple years? I know you're not big on resolutions.
Personally, you're saying, or like
yeah,
what I've
personally,
heard?
personally.
I don't really. It's more of like a day-to-day, week-to-week basis.
Yeah,
with,
what do you think about
me.
that? Where are you with? You know, there's the demographic of people who say, or there's the school of people who say, got to have a 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and then there's another school of people who, hey, I'm like 3 months at a time with goals. Like, I don't know what's happening in a year, 5 years, 15 years. Maybe I have a long-term picture, but my goals are more of like month at a time, 3 months at a time.
I know.
What do you think about that?
I know personally. This is just me. This is me.
It's just you.
It's just me in here. I know personally, me setting goals that far out, 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an anxious person. I'll admit that. It kind of unsettles me, because if I feel like, even if it's a 2-year goal, and I feel like, oh man, this week, this month, I'm not really, I just get overwhelmed. Like, I feel like with a long-term goal, I'm more of a fan. Like, something you turned me on to was doing the everyday journal type deal. Mm-hmm. What do you want to get done today? What was good about today? Like, keep going. Like, for example, just, things you start, even our podcast, like what you have to be, if you listen to everybody, and you and I have listened and read books, and every successful person, I think it comes down to, in every facet, not just fitness, any successful person, they have been consistent. Mm-hmm. There is no like, I tried CrossFit for 3 months and like, that's it. Like,
yeah.
Or I worked out
Keep
for
going.
2 months and saw the thing dim. I know you had to run over. We're good. Yeah, I don't know about the long-term ones. I'm more of a daily, weekly type person. I could control that. And, if they're too big, again, I'm anxious. I have a whiteboard. I write down our goals. I know Steve does this as well. If I see like too much stuff up there too many goals, I need like
Well, and that's
Two.
what happens. That's what happens to a lot of people, especially in our industry. What I've found, because primarily the people I've worked with, I worked with strength, performance, but the bulk has been health, weight loss, right? Losing weight, getting the body fat to come down, getting healthier, things like that, right? And so that group of people is usually, generally, not always, but usually, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so who like just has never been in the gym, never really worked out for, or haven't been in a gym in 20 years or 10 years or 5 years or whatever, right? So someone who is literally trying to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Whole real squad on every other shit. So they're trying to, and they're setting these goals that are very big and very ambitious, which is great. I will never ever tell anyone that your goals are too ambitious, but how you get there that's going to be another story.
Yeah.
So what you have is what I'm getting at is you have this segment or group of people that generally gets into the habit of, all right, I'm going to set this big goal, and then they get overwhelmed, and that overwhelming process is actually what hinders them from getting to that goal, right?
Right.
And so like you were saying before, got too much written on that whiteboard, too much, right? Overwhelmed.
I'm the type of guy.
It's too much.
I delete all my text when it's over.
Yeah, sure.
Emails I don't need.
But
if I don't need to see it, I don't need to see it. That's just me. But
that's what we do in this industry, right?
Right.
So you have, man who is in his mid 40s trying to lose weight, and he, eats fast food 2 out of 3 meals a day, doesn't work out, doesn't do any sort of cardiovascular training, doesn't do any strength training, doesn't do monostructure, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't. He's he's sitting, not exercising, eating like shit. And what we do is, okay, you're going to sign up for training with me, or you're going to be a client of mine, and now I'm going to throw all this shit at you. All right, man, in order to get to this goal, you need to eat this many calories. You need to stop eating this. You need to stop eating that. You need to stop eating that. You need to start doing this. You need to start eating this, and you're going to eat this and this and that, and this is going to be this meal. This is going to be that meal. This is going to be breakfast.
Steve,
this is gonna be
stop!
Lunch. This is going to be dinner.
Stop!
And you're going to work out this day and that day.
Holy
and you're
shit!
You're going to do this exercise and that exercise.
You're so mean, and your beard's stupid.
But that's literally what we're doing. We're taking...
Yeah, it's true.
We're taking this person who is already probably scared to death to be in the gym setting or at your local box or wherever, already scared enough. And they have these big ass goals that they might even be scared of that too. And now we're just throwing the kitchen sink at them. Hey, you got to change your life overnight. Everything you're doing right now, you need to stop and do all this different stuff. And it's that is what inevitably is gonna. That's what's gonna lead someone to failure almost.
That's how the. And not to be mean, but the running joke around most gyms is what? Oh man, January 1st, they're coming in. Mm-hmm. They'll be gone by mid-February or March. And
I think it's a combination of things. I know it sounds like I'm putting all the onus on fitness professionals, which I'm not. I'm not doing that. I believe that it's not all. We're very much made to believe, coaches and fitness professionals, we're always for some reason made to believe if your client doesn't get to their goals, you did something wrong or you didn't do enough. That's not the case.
Right.
And I'm actually kind of sick of hearing that, but that's another show. Because it's not. It's
Talk about it, Steve.
It's a team. It's literally a team effort. Everything you sit down and say you're going to do with your client or whoever you're coaching, you should be using words like we, you and I, things like that, right?
It's another word. It's a relationship.
Exactly. Because your client
any relationship.
Your client or whoever you're coaching, your athlete, whoever, they're not going to 100% on their own get their results without you. And you, as the coach, are not going to 100% on your own get them to where they want to be. It's going to be give and take. It's going to be 50-50, just like a team, just like a relationship, right? So, where the fuck was I going with that? I fucking completely forget. Oh no, talking about talking about the path to success versus the path to failure.
Right.
We may seem like I'm saying, okay, it's mainly the coach's fault if you're not guiding them in the right direction for to reach their goals, which is half true, right? If you aren't taking your athlete or client and giving them reasonable or attainable steps to get to their goal, and you're throwing a little too much at them, you're going to set them up for failure.
But
also, It depends on the individual as well, whether they're going to succeed or fail, or how fast they're going to succeed or fail, or if they will succeed or fail.
Right.
That also comes down to that person, which is, that comes down to like psychology and past history and what are they thinking every day and things like that.
That brings me to one of my, I guess, resolutions for the new year, not to throw myself in here, but learning more about how to deal with people, the psychology and their mind and what they like and how to get people.
Yeah, that's like a part of health, which I put in quotes because for some reason we don't include that. It's always diet, nutrition, cardio, strength training.
Which is, important.
What about the mental health part?
Yeah, it's right. And you're looking at, it's easy. I try to put myself in my client's shoes, for example. Like, I don't understand why this person just can't eat cold ground turkey out of a Tupperware like I do all day. Like, that's what I do.
Right.
It's like, all right, let's say one of my clients is high up in the finance world. Okay, I'm gonna go in that boardroom and try and do what he does. I have clients that talk to me about finance. I want to learn and whatever. And I don't know what the hell they're talking. I have no clue, and they got to slow it down for me. So I put myself in their shoes. Like, this is not their world.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This is my world.
Exactly.
So make them feel as comfortable as possible, and try to explain. That's what they do for me. If I ask for anything, advice outside, like finance, blah blah blah, they're like, just save like $20 a month or something like that. Like they keep it simple. That's what you got to do with your clients. If you throw too much at them at once, see you later. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my side of it.
Word.
What else are we going to talk about?
I mean, I think that's exactly the road we're on right now is kind of talking about, the difference and similarity between a goal and a resolution, which
right.
seem to be the same thing, right? Your want, right? I want to do this. That's your goal or your resolution.
Right,
I want to, or need to. Some people are in the position where it's like, I need to do this.
Issues.
Yeah, right. I need to do this or want to do this. But that's not all. That's not where the road ends. The road actually begins with goal setting and how to get there. But so, and talking about, just examples of some sort of resolutions and things like that. What are some of like the most common, resolutions you see? Like, say you're sitting in front of someone at the beginning of the year or something like that. Someone comes to you, a new person. Yeah, man, I want to do this, want to do that. What are some of like, not only the common like resolutions or goals, but what are the common behavior patterns that you see with people?
Well, I think we touched on it a little bit. Just they want to do everything at once.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
New Year's hits. All right. And the worst part about it is, you have the holidays, you have Christmas and all that, and it leads
right after
into
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
It's just like so it's like two Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. It's just like holidays of just like shit, alcohol, food, shit, food, alcohol, whatever. They want to do everything at once. All right, this is the year. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna come to the gym. I'm gonna do 4 days a week of cardio. I'm gonna train with you twice a week. I'm not eating carbs. And you're like, wow, that's what were you doing before? Oh, I had like soda every day, and it's like you're gonna detox hard, like we talked about a little bit in the past episodes about carbs and sugar. It's like you're gonna stress your body. You take away things it has, you're going to put your body under stress, and now you're going to exercise, something you haven't done or maybe never done or haven't done in years. Mm-hmm. So you're going to put your body under all this stress, and meanwhile you have in your head, I need to lose 20 pounds, which is mental pressure on top of the physical pressure you're putting on yourself.
Oh, yeah. But that's where the responsibility of the fitness professional coach, that's where that comes in, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you have this person sitting there, they're saying all these things that they want, or saying all these things that they need. I want to cut out soda. I want to stop eating carbs. I want to lose weight. I want to get healthier. I want to get stronger, right? Overnight, it seems. And that's okay. It's good to have all that ambition and all those goals. But it's our job as a fitness professional, as a coach, to steer them in the right direction as far as, okay, we're going to get there, and we're going to try our best to get there, but it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to just stop eating how you're eating tomorrow. Right. We're going to make little changes, little tweaks, right? And not even stuff like that. I would say my biggest struggle with like resolutions and goal setting has been, my personal one has been from like the mental, spiritual side of things, like saying like, I'm going to start journaling every single day. I'm going to meditate every single day. And, first week I'll do it maybe 3 times. I'll get all cut up and stuff. And, maybe I'll journal. If I get a couple days, oh, crap, I forgot to journal. And then, a couple weeks later, I'm like, oh, shit, I haven't journaled in 2 weeks, or I haven't meditated in 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So it's not just the physical side of things. It's not just fitness-related, nutrition-related, all that. It's other stuff as well. And if you are winning, if you have those clearly defined goals, you're winning there, okay? You're already winning. You're winning even more if you can develop a track for yourself, right? Set up a plan, set up a map for yourself, right? Rather than the plan just being A to Z. Have a plan that says A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. Then you're going to eventually get to Z, which is going to be the achievement of your goals. So how do you do that? We're going to take a quick break, come back and tell you in
just
a
about to,
couple
start
minutes,
talking.
a little bit of time from now.
Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her.
Hello and welcome back. We are back from our break, Strength Students podcast. We are talking about resolutions versus goal setting. This is something that Steve has done a lot with his clients. At his facility, he's got a lot more hands-on, like he physically touches his clients, which we're worried about, but we'll let it go. So Steve, what have you done to take, like we talked about in the first half, take these people that have maybe never been in a gym or never had on a diet or never ate healthy? Where do you begin when someone comes in and goes, all right, I drink 2 sodas a day, I have fast food, I have this and that. Like, where do you begin? How do you start with someone?
So first thing you do, the first place you begin is anytime you begin with setting a goal or resolution is get on paper or wherever you wish to write it down. Get on paper your goals and what you want to achieve. What do you want to do? And they could be anything. It doesn't have to be something, we shouldn't be, especially as fitness professionals, or if you're just someone helping someone out with goals, you should never tell someone what their goal is or should be. You should never say, oh, you should get down to this weight or you should get down to this body fat percentage. It's their goals. They're not your goals. So you're just there. You're the lending that hand to help them get there. You're guiding them into the right direction. So you would start with that simply. From there, it's typically the normal list of, I want my body fat to come down. I want this amount of weight to come off. I want to get in the gym. I want to get in the gym 4 times a week and things like that. So you have these goals like they want their body fat percentage to come down like 20%. They want to lose 50 pounds. They want to start working out 4 times a week, right? So all these things, all these big goals, which are great, right? But it's not as simple as, okay, just go do it. So there's a specific process that I usually follow. And it involves strategies in order to get to your goal, okay? So achievable things that you can control, the things that you can control in order to get to those measurable goals that you set, right? So you set these goals, right? Let's say it's, I want to get my body fat down to 50%, or I want to squat 500 pounds, right?
Right.
Say that's the goal. So you can't control those things happening. You can't control what the scale says. For the most part, you can't really control the weight you're going to lift, right? But there are steps you can take in order to get to those goals. Those are the things you can control, right? So those are the things that you can control on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, to ultimately get to your end goal, right? So when I sit down with someone and I say, hey, what's your goal for the month, right? So their goal for the month may be to get their body fat down 5%, right? Okay, that may be their goal for the month.
That's a lot.
Right. But that's not what their focus is going to be for the month. Their focus is going to be things that they can do in order to get to that body fat percentage, right? So that's things like nutrition, dieting, things like that. Sleep more. It could be anything, right?
Right.
So this all seems pretty standard stuff, right? But now is where it starts to get tricky, because now you don't want to get into the habit of, okay, hey, what's your goal? Oh, my goal is to lose 5% body fat this week or this month. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to eat this, you need to not eat this, you need to do that and not eat that, okay? Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. A month later, that person comes back, nothing changed. Oh, did you eat this or did you do that like I said? No. Did you do this or like that? Like I said, no. Oh, well, why not? Okay. Because that's because you need to take the time to get into that person's head what's realistic for them. Not what's realistic for you, what's realistic for them, right? What is realistic for them to do? Is it realistic for this person to completely stop what they're eating and start eating all this new stuff every single day to change their habits? No, that's probably not realistic. Usually that's not the case, right?
Right.
So that's when you have to start breaking it down a little more into, all right, reasonable strategies and steps that you can take to kind of piece together this puzzle that is your goal, right? So putting little pieces of the puzzles together. So for example, you have a person who wants their body fat to come down for the month, right? All right, so take what they're eating now. Say they're eating 3 meals a day, and all those meals have carbohydrates added in them, right? So they're eating a lot of carbs throughout the day. So instead of saying, hey, you just need to cut carbs, stop eating carbs, right?
All of them.
So I'll sit down and say, okay, you're eating 3 meals a day right now. All of those involve carbs. How about we try to, for this month, let's focus on having 2 out of those 3 meals with carbs, right? And so I'll say, okay, that seems reasonable. I'll say, scale 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident that you could do that. What are you at? Where are you at? What number? And if they say anything less than a 9 or 10, you change that strategy to something that they will say 9 or 10. Because if it's a 7 or 8, it's probably not something that they're confident in doing. So you need to switch that up, right? So you need to make it, and they need to say a 9 or a 10, okay? So I'll say, all right, instead of 3 meals a day with carbohydrates, let's have 2 meals a day with carbohydrates. Scale 1 to 10, how do you feel? That's a 9. I could do a 9. Okay, great. So that's going to be our focus for the month, right? So week 1 goes by. I'll come back to that same person. Hey, Bob, how's it going, man?
That's not my name.
How's it going? How's it going with, just cutting it down to 2 meals a day with carbs rather than 3? And either it'll be, oh, great, man, it's been going good. Like every day I've pretty much, maybe there was a day in there where, I didn't do it. But for the most part, I've just been doing 2 meals with carbs. Awesome. Or, hey, Bob, how's it going with the 2 meals a day with carbs? Not good, man. Still eating 3 meals with carbs. Like I did it a couple times, and then you have to talk about switching it up. Either way, you have to talk about switching it up, because if it's something where they're like, oh yeah, this is pretty good, I could do this. This is pretty easy. Why is my computer ringing?
Son of a bitch, Sarah. Stop.
So either way is where you'll probably have to change something, whether things are going really well.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, this is actually pretty easy. Like, I'm eating only 2 meals a day with carbs, or no, this is really shitty, man. Like, I've only done it a couple times. So either way, you're going to change something.
Right.
If it's, hey, I'm doing really well, 2 meals a day without carbs, it's been very easy. It's been very simple for me. It's been good. All right, now this next week, let's focus on 1 meal a day with carbs, right? And let's maybe try to focus that around your workout. So let's do 1 meal a day with carbs rather than just 2 meals a day with carbs. Now we'll make it even. Now we'll switch it up even more. So
you better break up with your girlfriend.
Just ignore it. It's fine. You can't hear it in the video.
Oh, all right. Yeah, all right. Good. Nothing's happening.
So, so either way, you have to switch things up. And then on the flip side of it, if it's I'm really struggling with this. I can't get this done. I'm only eating. I've only been able to do it a couple times this week where I've had 2 meals with carbs, but the rest of it has been, it's just been that 3 meals a day with carbs. Then you have to switch it up the other way. Say, okay. How about instead of every single day, maybe let's try to do it on days you don't work out. That's usually a route I'll go, because in this situation with carbs, all right, it's not bad to have a little more carbs on the day you work out, but on the days you're not working out, let's try that, okay? Okay, yeah, I can do that. The days I don't work out, I'll try to just keep it to 2 meals a day, right? So you see where I'm getting at here. Bottom line is you need to make these things achievable and attainable, right? It can't be, oh, you want your body fat to come down for the month? Okay, cut carbs. You're not eating carbs at all. So this person's going to go from eating 3 meals a day with carbs, which is 21 meals per week. They're going to go from eating 21 meals a week with carbs to 0 meals a week with carbs. I don't think that's going to happen. Some people it could. Some people I'll sit down and be like, so you're going to cut carbs for the entire month. Scale 1 to 10. They'll be like, 10. I could do it. And some of them do it, and that's fine, and that's okay.
Holy shit.
But that's where that scale comes in. And a lot of the time, not a lot of I won't say a lot. I'll say some of the time you'll have someone who say, "That's a 9, man. I could do it 10." And you'll talk to them, and it's
were they in show tunes? Were they in
and
Broadway?
and it's like, I didn't do that. So it's like, and that's okay. So people are a little more ambitious. The scale isn't flawless. That 9 to 10 scale isn't flawless. It's just kind of a measure, right? So that's where you come in, though. That's where you, as a professional or the helper, come in to say, hey, okay, we need to make this a little more attainable for you, a little more achievable for you, or okay, we need to make this a little more challenging for you. Like I've had the other way too. I've set a goal for someone, and they're like, yeah, dude, this is like super easy. Okay, let's bump it up then, right? So that's kind of where you come in. So that's kind of the thought process behind the whole thing, and that's kind of the route I take as far as how month to month you're going to get someone to where they want to be. I'm also a big person on month to month, like we were talking before. I'm big on month to month rather than looking at like the bigger, broader goal, like where you want to be in a year. It's like, okay, that's a good goal to have, but what are the sub goals? I guess what are the sub goals to get to that? What are you doing on a month to month basis? And focus on that thing. Okay, don't focus on I need to get to 20% body fat. Focus on I want to lose a percentage or 2% this month. Just focus on that, right? And not only focus on that, but put your energy into the strategies you're going to do to get to that, right? So that's kind of where I start there. The other thing too is, and this is very big, very popular, very well known with goals, is have them written down, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's on a sheet of paper, my thing with the people I work with, just the system we have there, it's written down on a sheet. They have it written down and they sign and date, like it's in there. It's in their blood. They take the sheet home.
They sign it in their blood.
They sign it in their blood. And I usually I'll give them a copy of the sheet and say, put this on your fridge, put this in the car, at the office, wherever you need to put it, so you see it all the time, because this is going to be our focus for the
toilet. Yeah.
And so from my end of things, from the from the accountability aspect, I guess you could say. So now I'm checking every week. Like I mentioned before, it's after the first week. Hey, how you doing with this goal? Okay, we need to maybe change it this way or change it that way. So I'm changing every week. I'm also having them give me feedback, because that's pretty important too. Hey, how are you doing with this? Is this working? What are some of your thoughts? What have you just been feeling overall about it? Because that's an important part of it too.
Right.
So there's all these things that go into achieving an actual attainable goal, but it's more of like the little in-between stuff that you're doing, the month-to-month, day-to-day steps that you're taking. But the important thing about those steps is
I hate when that happens. I hate
it happens once an episode. So the important thing about those steps, though, is that, like we talked about before, they are things that you can control, right? So don't focus on the goal that you can't control. Don't focus on trying to control that. Focus on the things you can control in order to get to that. And I'm telling you this also, once you could start to shift people away from focusing so much on the body fat percentage and all right, that's my goal. I need to focus on it, my body fat percentage. I want my squat to go up. Once you get their focus away from that and focus on, I need to just eat 2 meals a day this week with carbs, or I need to get into the gym 3 times a week and squat 3 times a week. Once you get them focusing and putting all their energy into the thing that they can control, they are going to be so happy, because they are going to get to the thing that they want to achieve that they can't control, but the things that they can control, they're using to get to the thing that they can't control.
Right.
Word. And so that's how I'll do it with people I work with. As far as how I do it with myself, I'm a big whiteboard guy, so I have a big old whiteboard in my apartment, in my room, right?
It's supposed to be
tacked
whiteboard?
tacked up on the wall, right? It's a gender neutral board. So
hold on.
So I have a big whiteboard, and I have it switched up into 3 categories, right? So I have 3 different sections on the whiteboard. I have our podcast section. I have section for work.
Why do you have that?
For training and coaching, and then I have a section for my individual training, right? And it's all has the same stuff on it. It's pretty much at the top of the whiteboard. It's what do I want to accomplish? All right. So what do I need to get done on the podcast? What do I want to get done in training, coaching at work, and what do I want to get done for my own training? What are some of my athletic accomplishments that I'm trying to achieve? So I have all the wants and needs written down, right? I have them written down. What do I want to do? That way I could see it. I could see my own writing that says I want to do this, and it's there, and it's reminding me, rather than just having it in the back of my head like, yeah, I want to do that, or I need to do that, or I just never get around to it. This way, for me, it's on a whiteboard. I pass it every single day. I'm always looking at it. I'm always scribbling on it and changing things. It's always there. There's like apps and stuff. I'm not a big fan of apps just because it's like, this may sound super lazy, but like you have to pick up your phone and go into the app and that's fine. But for me, when it's on the whiteboard, it's just always there, smacking you in the face, right? It's always right there in front of you, and you can always go change it and things like that. So I'm a big fan of whiteboard. So on my whiteboard, I have all surfboards? On my whiteboard, I have all my wants, all the things I want to accomplish, and then under that, I have very similar to what we just said. So I'll take a goal and a strategy. So I have that written down. I have goal and strategy. So not just goal, I'll have strategy. So the goal is, for my training, I want to snatch 195 pounds, right? And so the strategy for me, because I was injured, was the initial strategy I wrote down was get to 100% recovery, right? So I could control that. I can control getting myself completely recovered, right? For the most part. So now I'm focusing all my energy on just getting recovered. Okay, now I'm recovered. All right, now what is the goal? Okay, the goal is still to snatch 95 pounds. Now what's the strategy? So I'll change the strategy up. I'll write the strategy in. Attend 5 CrossFit classes a week, right? So getting back into the regular CrossFit schedule. All right, so do that. Boom. Done. I usually give myself a time frame. Like I gave myself 2 months. So I did that 2 months, 5 days a week in classes. Awesome. All right. Goal, snatch 195 pounds. Now the strategy I'll change up to, okay, I'm doing classes consistently every week. Now I'm going to get back into the competitive programming, right? So essentially the goal is just to start the competitive programming again on a week-to-week basis. So that's the strategy. And what I've been finding is I haven't been focusing on the 195-pound snatch. I haven't focused on that. I've just been focusing on these things that I can do, things I control. And, the other day I did a complex, like a snatch complex with my old training max. So it's almost like when you approach things with this system in this way, it's like the thing that you are trying to achieve, it's almost like it's just happening without you even noticing it because you're focusing on these things that are going to get you there, but you're not focused on that end goal. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it just happens.
I'm picking some stuff up from you, man. Now I'm starting to rethink some of my goals, my
dope
training.
Shit. Yeah, it's dope shit. It's good shit.
I'm becoming like a strength student.
Podcast. Like our show.
It is our show.
But yeah, so that's typically the process I'll take with myself and with other people as well. So, again, like the overarching theme being pick a goal, but don't focus on that goal. Focus on strategies that you can do week to week, day to day in order to get you to that goal. Okay? And always ask yourself, scale 1 to 10, how confident am I that I could do this on a week to week basis, day to day basis for this month or this week? If it's not a 9 or a 10, then you need to bump it down. Okay? If it's an 8 or a 7, got to bump it down, set something a little more measurable for you.
I like that, dude, a lot.
Yeah. So when you're setting your resolutions, setting your goals for this year, that's great. Have that plan. Have that want. Have that desire. Have that drive to get to where you want to be. But make sure you're setting yourself up for success and not setting yourself up for failure. And that you could easily do that by just giving yourself strategies to focus on a week-to-week and day-to-day basis to get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
and write that shit down, man. Write that shit down. Write it down.
Write it on your forehead. So every time you look in the mirror.
Get creative. Write it. You could write it on your mirror. You could post Post-its up. I'm a big whiteboard guy. I have multiple whiteboards in my house. Write them down.
There's also one of the techniques I was learning about recently was to wake up every morning and say your goals out loud for the day to yourself. Like literally speak it out loud. Don't write it down. Say this
achieve the ultimate erection.
Hold on. Done. Next.
Your neighbor's like, yeah, our neighbor wakes up every morning and just screams he wants to achieve the ultimate erection.
Haven't seen him hard once.
We're moving. All right, man. So that's that's like it for me in goal setting. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I only subtract.
Word.
And divide. And multiply.
And conquer.
Multiply experiences. No. Just all I want to say to everyone is just take it one step at a time. It's going to sound really weird. It's a journey. Like, I don't want to get too mushy. It's a journey. It's going to take time. I'll get a little personal. 5-6 years ago, I was 270 pounds, really fat. Like, it takes time. You just focus on week by week. I got to get my cardio in. I got to eat like this. I got to do that. It all is going to take time, and you'll be happy you'll put in the time. Just like for, I'll talk a little bit about with my clients. They're like, I've been working out really hard for 2 weeks and like nothing's happening. And I was like, do you go to school for 2 weeks? Like, did anyone go to school for just 2 weeks? Do you go to work for 2 weeks and that's it? You make all your. It takes time. Like, people work at their careers and other things, but like for fitness, they want that. And I understand it's frustrating, but just take these steps that we laid out, and hopefully you'll be ripped by summertime.
Word. All right, everybody. Have a happy new year. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Don't kiss strangers at midnight.